What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to the All Around. I'm your gracious host, Dr. Anthony. Please tune in on Mondays at 6 p.m. for your entertainment purposes. We will hit current topics, old topics, and everything else in between. Be there or be square. Deuces, my loves. Hi, what's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to another great episode of the All Around. I am your gracious host, Dr. Anthony, and we have some amazing topics to talk to you about. I'm back. I know it's been a minute. We've been doing reruns and things like that, but I am back. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and bring out my producer, Mark Lee.
How are you doing, beautiful young lady, and everything? I know you're just looking sharp as always. You got those kids going back to school, and you've got to deal with them. So I'm sure that they are doing hopefully well and not driving you too crazy and everything. I don't know what's going on in your world, but we had Black August in the park, so there was a lot of celebration of Black culture this past Saturday, and there was people that were showing things like George Jackson and some of the great leaders of the day, including some of the founders around Haiti and some of the other places, and then just folks over there enjoying being out there among the melanin people. And it was definitely a fun thing and a great event. So definitely a lot of good food was out there because they had various food trucks that are minority owned and all in that space.
Oh,
And then
nice.
there was organizations like Historic Stagville and a number of other things that were going on. But we definitely had a good time and enjoyed ourselves. The African drummers got the beat going, and the dancers came out there and danced with them. So it was a fun and wonderful time. And then yesterday I had the Indians over here, as in from India, and they were doing some traditional Indian music and lots of rich Indian food. But yeah, things have been jumping over here in this neck of the woods while you've been dealing with health and dealing with those school kids and all along those lines. So definitely a lot been going on in your absence, including the National Black Theater Festival that I went to at the beginning of the month of August. But yeah, things are jumping over here, but I know that things are jumping where you are as well. And a lot of people have been excited by the DNC and that whole thing that was going on with them. And they had a regular party because the Republicans did not have a party. They were having Hulk Hogan and Kid Rock. But we had a lot of things, including Sheila E. and John Legend at the Democratic convention. And it even had a salute to Prince. And it seems like the roll call, which is going on. I think they even had Little John come down and do a rap number during the roll call and all along those lines. So it just seems like we were having a party. I don't know what they were having, but it wasn't a party.
Well, the thing about it is, it just goes to show, personality difference. They did things according to her personality, not according to his personality, and not according to, the norms of whatever, other people have done in the past. And I particularly enjoyed it. I thought it was amazing that, they showcased different artists when they did the roll call from different states and things like that. And, they played the music of different artists from those particular states. So I thought that was absolutely amazing. I thought they did their job. I thought they captured the young people. I thought they captured the old people. I thought they captured the people who were on the fence about, if they wanted to vote for her. I think they did the job and they hit the nail on the head with everything that they brought out and everything that they put forth. The message was clear. The message was a stark difference and a contrast to what we will be getting with him and what we will be getting with her. And we already know that we're Democratic down over here, and so I think they did an amazing job in, showcasing who she is as a person, as a prosecutor, as, her career, because for the life of me, I don't understand why they feel like she's not qualified. And you have a person over here who has bankrupted his businesses and bankrupted everybody, who has cheated people and are still cheating people, who have been sued from the Department of Justice since the 60s and 70s about, racial discrimination of, not allowing Black people to stay in his hotels and his properties and things like that. So for the life of me, it just behooves me how, you have all these people who are screaming that she's not qualified and she can't compose a sentence and she can't compose, her thoughts and things. And I'm just like, this woman has taken on banks and, you know, all types of mobsters, and, you know, have put these people behind bars and have held these people accountable, and she cannot compose a sentence. Whereas this man over here, he babbles about, you know, everybody being nasty to him. Nobody's asking him easy questions and things like that. Lied about his transcripts at Penn State, lied about his degree, and lied about, you know, countless other things. Not only that, but has 34 convictions. He's a convicted felon, but she's not qualified. So, you know, it just, you know,
I
it just
don't get
baffles
either.
me about, you know, how people try to paint a smart woman to, you know, support a dumbass man. I'm sorry, Mark, and I'm not calling you dumb. I'm just saying.
No, I got it, and I know Trump is definitely is a rambler. He keeps rambling, and all along those lines, and he keeps rambling all kinds of stupid things, and in that space. So I just don't get it why people like you are supporting this man because he's got all kinds of issues going on, and I'm trying to figure out what people are thinking. I think that it's been a minute since we've done a show, and of course, he tried to go to the NABJ and tried to have a whole conversation with them, and I talked to people that were actually at that event and
Mhm.
that he was upset because they actually wanted to fact check him and all along those lines, and they wanted to do it in real time. And he, of course, he didn't like that idea. And now
Mhm.
I'm hearing rumors that he wants to back out of the debate that they had planned. So they're having some thoughts about hot mics and other things because he'll say just about anything. So they are possibilities that we might not have a debate, or maybe we'll only have a vice presidential debate because apparently he is running a little scared because he might be one of those people that doesn't know how to handle a assertive and a very positive black woman and everything. So definitely it'll be interesting to see how he deals with this because it seems like he's already running for the covers.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's already, you know, talking about we're changing the rules with the mics and things like that. They've always had open mics. So what are you trying to hide? You know, talking about we need to stop playing games. We meaning the Democrats and the DNC. We need to stop playing games and things like that. Nobody is playing games. People are holding you accountable, and you don't want people to fact check you, and you don't want people to hold you accountable because you know you're about a bunch of BS and you're about a bunch of lies and things like that. Just like he's trying to distance himself away from Project 2025. All the people who sponsored and wrote Project 2025, including the Heritage Foundation, who's a direct sponsor of the Project 2025, are affiliated with Trump and affiliated with the Republicans. And so now that people are reading and know about it, you want to lie and say that that's not your plan. No, that's exactly your plan. That's exactly what you plan to do. You plan to screw people over. You plan to take people jobs and put people in there who are Trump loyalists. You plan to enact revenge upon people who did not vote for you, who are in a different political party, who stands on different thoughts and things like that or whatever. But that's exactly who you are, and that's not what a president does. A president transfers the piece of a peaceful piece of power and things like that or whatever. A transfer of power should not be where because you lost you had people had to cheat. Nobody cheated. We fired you. We voted for somebody different. So there was a stark difference in 2020, and it's going to be a stark difference in 2024 when Kamala takes the helm and she secures the presidency and things like that. Nobody wants Trump except the racists, and this is about morals and values and where you see yourself standing. This is not really about Republicans and Democrats because we have people that are swapped over on both sides from the Republicans to the Democrats and things like that. But this is about your belief system, where you are morally, where you are when it comes to holding people accountable. So you want this man Trump to basically be the president, and he's trying to save his ass from being in prison. No, he needs to be held accountable, and he needs to go to prison, and he needs to do what time for committing those crimes. If it was anybody else, y'all would have completely thrown the book at him. If President Obama would have made one mistake, you would have thrown him under the jail. So, with this idiotic man, you guys want to give him multiple chances to screw over the United States when we have known that he have been selling U.S. secrets to enemies and things like that. He wants to get rid of NATO, who are our allies, and he wants to do other things, get rid of the Department of Justice, the Department of Education, get rid of all these departments where we're holding people accountable. So y'all just want him just out there just free willy-nilly. That it doesn't work like that. And so we have a democracy and we have laws in place for a reason. And to the Black people that are out there supporting Trump, talking about, Black people supporting Kamala just because she's Black. No, we're not just supporting her just because she's Black. That's part of it, but we're also supporting her because she stands on what she stands on her business, and she's qualified, she's dignified, she's principled, she's measured, and she can handle the job. Whereas we have a nutcase in office. Oh, did y'all forget that he used like billions of dollars in missiles and things like that, and told the people to get out because we were fake bombing them or whatever. So y'all want a person like that into office to run the highest office of the land over here in the U.S. and y'all making us a freaking laughing stock, and y'all talking about this lady is not qualified and she cannot do the job. Y'all really need to go back and y'all really need to soul search and do some thinking. And for the black people out there that are talking about, Kamala, and we're just supporting her just because she's black, y'all honestly need to, do some soul searching as well. Because at the end of the day, if you would have committed any one of those crimes that Trump would have, your black ass would have been under the jail and the key thrown away. So I just want you to know, when you go to that ballot box, when you're sitting over there and you have to submit that, pull that lever, or however you vote, you know what I'm saying? When you put that person's name in that machine, think. Now, if I was this person and I was black and I was in the same position, would the laws apply to me equally? Would I be equally handled the same way that Trump is being equally handled? And you already know the answer to that. The answer is no. You know you wouldn't. You know the book would be thrown at you. You know you would be locked up. Prime example. They faulted Breonna Taylor's boyfriend for her death. Now, this man was in there, in the house. They were asleep, but they blamed him instead of the cops who killed her. So I just want y'all to think about that and keep that in mind when y'all go into the ballot box talking about y'all voting and supporting for Trump.
Well,
Mark?
we got crazy people out there too, because apparently one of your favorite people is back in the news again because Charlemagne the God is scolding a rapper who claims Vice President Harris didn't owe black voters an explanation of her policies, arguing it was absolutely wrong to tell black people to settle for the Democratic candidate. So he said, I don't understand Plies or any black people person for that matter telling black people to just settle, just accept whatever the candidate is giving you. Don't ask questions, just vote. They don't have to explain anything to us. No, and that's apparently what Charlemagne said earlier today on the Breakfast Club, and he was responding to a profanity-laced rant that the rapper known as Plies posted online on Sunday about black men supporting former President Trump in the election, and Plies slammed those voters for criticizing Harris's record in office and argued Harris didn't need to answer questions about her policy. So the last thing he said is, stop asking a black woman to explain themselves to you or explain themselves to y'all. The rapper chided, y'all cool with a white man not explaining himself. He continued appearing to reference Trump. And speaking of folks referencing Trump, I don't know what you thought of Obama's kind of a crack on how much Trump loves crowd sizes, and maybe even a crack on the size of his male parts and everything, because Obama definitely put him in the doghouse with that little stunt that he did, and it was a worthwhile, and I got a good laugh out of it.
I honestly believe everybody, took great jabs at him and things like that. But the thing about it is, everything that they said was the absolutely truth. It happened, and it is happening, and things like that. It's not like they did not, state anything that was a fallacy and things like that. They stated stuff that he did, stuff that he supports, and things like that. Because we all know that he's good for mismatching and switching up, and being wishy-washy, saying that he said something and then lying about he didn't say it, but we have you on video saying it, and you clearly lying that you didn't say it or whatever. So we all know that all the jabs and everything that was stated was true. Even when Michelle Obama referenced, you do understand that you about to you want a black job.
Right.
The black job comment and, stuff like that or whatever. So, I mean, I just feel like he feels that, because people are calling him out, that, it's an issue and it's a problem, but you can say what you want to say. It's all right when you do it, but it's a problem when other people do it. But you sat there, you made fun of, people who had disabilities. You made fun of President Joe Biden because he stutters. You made fun of a handicapped reporter and things like that. And so nobody can poke jabs at you. My thing is, get the fuck out of here. Like, seriously, you can do it, but nobody else can do it.
No,
This is not a dictatorship.
no, but we already saw a little bit of that, Dr. Anthony, because one of the things that, and I've got some history with that myself, and I know some people that have definitely in my circle that have history and everything along those lines. But there is a child of one of the folks that has got a neurodivergency disability and all along those lines,
Mhm.
and they were having a moment of pride. I know you work with folks of different abilities in that sense and everything. They were having a moment of pride with their dad, saying that that's their dad and everything, but because they are ADHD or have whatever else that they may have going on, I did see a number of the MAGA people that were given a hard time, even though I thought it was a person that was being proud of their dad, Tim Walz, who is now the vice presidential candidate. But definitely, there's no doubt that his kids have got certain things going on. But I'm going like, why are y'all giving him a hard time when he's just basically calling out the pride that he had for his um, father, who is now going to be a vice presidential candidate.
But that's what people do. When they can't come with any other things that's factual or anything like that, they come with the insults. But I wouldn't expect anything different from the Republicans, because who is at the helm? Trump is at the helm, and this is what he has done since he was running in the presidential election. He has consistently done this, made fun of people with disabilities, and like I said, he even made fun of President Biden because he stutters and things like that. So why would his constituents be any different? They're playing basically follow the leader, and they're doing everything that he is doing and has done, and made fun of people who has disabilities and things like that, which uh, that's sad. But that is the accepted norm on the Republican side. But like I said, it's all right when they do it, but it's a problem when somebody else do it. We don't hold Republicans to the same accountability that we hold Democrats. They're not holding Donald Trump to the same standard that they're holding Kamala to. And it's just baffling to me that y'all will let this mediocre man come out there and say something about a decorated woman who has shown and proven that she can handle her business and she can stand on business. But who is he to judge her? And who are you to judge her when you're not even on her same level and in the same class as she is, mentally, physically, emotionally, and things like that, or whatever? So it just baffles me how they try to turn the tables, and they try to concede when it comes to him, but then they want to hold everybody else accountable. Really funny.
Yep, that's really funny. Like I said, they got their own issues and they got like their copycats because that's all JD Vance is a Trump copycat and all
Hmm.
along those lines. Where they're trying to make their excuses for why they are all right and all along those lines. But definitely, that is something that a lot of people have been paying attention to. The other things that during the time that you were gone, that some people were complaining about it and wondering about, and I don't know your thoughts around it. I think we might have touched it on one of your last shows and everything. Is this notion of um, Simone Biles, but also Childs, who was apparently had a bronze. Then she didn't have a bronze, and now she's uh, been relegated, I think, to fifth place or maybe even fourth place. But even the other Romanian is saying maybe I should have third place because apparently there was all kinds of things that were going on
Hmm.
wrong in that whole notion and everything. But just one of your take in because as far as I'm concerned, she still is the bronze medal winner, and I wouldn't be necessarily trying to give that medal back.
Well, I mean, the thing about it is they messed up. I'm talking about the federation, the
But
judges and things like that or whatever. They messed up because it was proven that her stuff was submitted within the time, the correct time and things like that or whatever. So she is not actually giving her medal back, but they did give the other girl a medal, which I don't think they should have and things like that, because to me it was a conflict of interest, because he worked for the Romanian government for 10 years plus and has consulted with them. So I'm quite sure that he was kind of partial to them when the decision was made, and he should have immediately recused himself and been removed from the board before any of this was, taking place and things like that or whatever. And well, how it is when it comes to black women. They always want to, chop us down a notch and things like that or whatever. But the onus is on them. It is not on her. They did what they were supposed to do. They messed up. And I saw on the news that the mother of the bronze medal winner, she's demanding an apology and things like that. Your daughter doesn't deserve an apology. She lost fair and square. The judges didn't do what they were supposed to do, and as a result, your daughter is receiving the brunt end of it. She lost the medal and things like that or whatever. So no, an apology is not warranted and is not needed.
yep, that makes a lot of sense. Well, here's another issue that I know a lot of women will be Glad to hear about. But apparently, this is, and I did not know this. I just found this out
Mhm.
recently. Black Breastfeeding Week, the only national health campaign with an explicit national focus on improving African American maternal and infant health through breastfeeding, and it is being celebrated in its 12th year from August 25th, which would have been yesterday, to August 31st. So definitely, it's an awareness effort created in response to the gap in racial disparities in breastfeeding rates that have existed for over 40 years, despite the proven benefits of breastfeeding for mothers and babies. So the 2024 theme is Listen Up, Reclaiming Our Narrative and Centering in Our Stories for Breastfeeding Justice honors the power of storytelling to shift
Mhm.
cultural norms in infant feeding in African American communities. The week long awareness campaign will include an online storytelling festival on social media where community members are invited to share their breastfeeding joy, and an open mic night for Black Mamas hosted live in New York City. That's actually taking place on August 28th.
Mhm.
And in Oakland, it took place on August 25th, as well as a virtual open mic night August 30th. It will be streamed live to the BBW Facebook page. So definitely, it looks like Black parents are being invited to share their birth and breastfeeding related poems, songs, birth stories, comedy shorts, and more for a night that amplifies the African American voice and stories as critical looks for shifting the narrative. And it's even got some big names, looks like Tia No More, an actress,
Mhm.
rapper, and star of the 2023 movie Earth Mama, will be one of the people involved, along with award winning comedian Nikki Sunshine and others as well, including maternal health activist Angelina Spicer. So I know that
Mhm.
you, like myself, are not a parent, but we do have folks that we take care of and everything. But according to the CDC, only 75% of Black infants are ever breastfeed, compared to 86% of non-Hispanic white infants and 92.7% of Asian infants. And the number of breastfed Black infants significantly declines at 6 months and 12 months to nearly half the rate of white infants. So I don't know if you got any thoughts about this, but apparently there's a big effort to have an event around this community and everything.
I mean, they're just now showcasing Black women and, all the things that Black women do, and to, big ups to people who breastfeed and, things like that. Breastfeeding doesn't work for everyone.
That's
And,
true.
some mamas don't make enough, they don't produce enough milk in order to, breastfeed. So big up to the ones that are breastfeeding and that are doing what they need to do in terms of their children, in terms of their babies and things like that. And I love the fact that they're supporting, Black women, because, we oftentimes don't get a lot of support when it
Mhm.
comes to, like our children birth rates and, things like that or whatever. So, big ups to them for even recognizing it. But I would, I'll be careful about sharing my stories because, people tend to, copycat and take your stories and take your work and, pass it off as their own and things like that or whatever. So I would definitely be careful with, sharing, my thoughts and beliefs and my stories and things like that, because
No,
I wouldn't want nobody taking my story
no, we
and
don't
stuff.
want
But
anybody taking your story. Your story is your story, and it needs to be
yes.
highlighted as yours. A two Black pastors are in trouble. I know here in North Carolina, we got one that's in the middle of a significant divorce. I think that they're going to wind up having to give up one of their big houses, and they definitely were one of the founders of one of our mega churches. And I also saw another story where a Black pastor is being called shady for asking each church member to donate $2,100 each. So Pastor Keon Henderson of the Lighthouse Church in Houston, Texas, has called on his congregation and supporters to help raise $4 million to not only repair the damage caused by Hurricane Beryl, but also to build a larger place of worship. So the hurricane severely damaged the church's north campus, leaving it unusable. And in a heartfelt message delivered on Sunday, August 11th, he urged 2,100 people to contribute $2,100 each within 21 days, aligning with what he describes as a divine vision. So, what is our thoughts? Because it looks like it's another case of maybe a pastor trying to get out there and get some money to build a nice big building and all along those lines. So, I don't know if you got any thoughts. The third thing that went into my mind is that I know that we need sometimes a church home and all along those lines, but we also got some people, including some people in Houston, that probably need some investments in jobs and in homes and a number of other things. So I don't know what your thoughts are around that.
I mean, my thing is I don't mind, donating to the church, but don't tell me what I need to donate. That's
Right.
my only issue. What God lays on my heart to donate, that's what I donate. But I don't need you telling me what I need to donate and things. That's why I have a problem with. But hey, if you want to support your church and you have the means to do so, go right ahead and support your church and do that. But like I said, for me, whatever God lays on my heart to do, I want to do it and things like that, because a lot of times people use like tragedies and things like that or whatever to solicit funds and to solicit money, and the money typically sometimes don't go to the intended source or into the to the trauma victims or whatever. But people have to have a spirit of discernment and just use their common sense to figure out if that's something that they want to do, because I can't tell you not to support your church, and I can't tell you to support your church. Whatever God lays on your heart, that's what it is. you
Yeah, that
know
makes sense. Speaking of discernment, I'm still trying to figure this out because apparently we got a famous judge that is doing this. That church that I referenced to that was here in North Carolina and all along those lines, and it was a big mega church. I want to say he and his wife had been together for about
hmm
35, 40 years or something like that, and everything. World Overcomers, I believe, is the name of the church and everything. And then I'm just looking at some of the news items, and apparently Judge Mathis is being having a divorce with his wife after 39
hmm
years of marriage. So Linda Mathis, they're saying irreconcilable differences. But I'm going like, if you didn't know that y'all had those differences after 39 or 40 years, what happened that all of a sudden it became an issue? And like I said, I don't know the story. I don't know what happened. I don't know what was going on. But I am sometimes startled when I hear people that have been together for decades and then all of a sudden something happens that causes them not to be together. I'm not saying it can't happen. I mean, shucks, my own parents got divorced when I was in college, so they would have been together for about 19 or 20 years and have been
hmm
separated longer than they were together and everything. But I'm just curious as to what your thoughts are around that, because we are seeing a couple of famous folks and regionally famous that are getting divorced after having been together for 30, 40 years. And you also have to wonder how it impacts the kids. I mean, the kids are grown and gone, then it may not impact them, but if they're uh, got young people or even if they're grandkids, it can definitely be an impact. But I was just wondering your thoughts because, like I said, I just now found out that I used to like Judge Mathis, but apparently he is um, now going to be looked at as a divorcee.
Yeah, I mean, if you've been together that long, my thing is you might as well just go ahead and stay together, because I mean that's a whole lifetime or whatever. But hey, who am I to judge? You know what I'm saying? Whatever makes your boat float and things like that or whatever, that's on you. I just know that if I'm in a marriage that long, I'm not going nowhere. I'm just gonna stay, go sleep in a separate bedroom. We can be roommates or something or whatever. I'm just not gonna, throw a whole lifetime away over some irreconcilable differences and things like that or whatever. I'm quite sure we can find some common ground. You know what I'm saying? So,
Well, you were
hey.
talking about, yeah, I agree with you on that. I did have some sad news on my personal front that I'll share with you in a minute and everything. But on another note, we do know we're talking about black women and what black women are doing, but there's another national event that is going on. It will take place in October of this year, and it's something that I know is dear to your heart and everything. But apparently,
Mhm.
Regina Renee, an award-winning mental health advocate and the host of Strong Black Women Support Group podcast, is announcing the fifth annual Strong Black Woman Redefined Conference themed Relax, Relate, and Release. The transformative event will be held on Saturday, October 12th from 8 to 4 p.m. at the Hilton Boston Dedham and everything. But this year's conference continues to challenge the cultural expectations placed on African American women, advocating the prioritization for mental health, self care, and authentic living. And so
Mhm.
apparently, it's a movement committed to dismantling the toxic narrative that Black women must constantly be strong at the expense of their well being. This year's Relax, Relate, and Release speaks directly to the need for Black women to give themselves permission to rest, to connect deeply with themselves, and to let go of the burdens that do not serve them. So apparently, Regina said the conference is about creating a space where Black women can unapologetically prioritize their mental health and well-being. We've been conditioned to believe that our strength lies in our ability to endure, but true strength comes from knowing when to relax, relate, and release. And the highlight of
Mhm.
this year's conference will be the keynote panel discussion titled Nurturing Ourselves and Our Mental Health, the Importance of Boundaries, Self Care, and Respite. And
Mhm.
this dynamic discussion will feature Katrina Huff Larmon, counselor for the town of Randolph, Massachusetts, and other leading voices in mental health. But it looks like one of the things that they were definitely going to be talking about is, like I said, about survival and also just around. Apparently, there was the person that is doing this event is a five-time suicide attempt survivor. So apparently, that is part of what Regina Renee is somebody that has contemplated committing suicide, but has chosen to go a different route and to be
Mhm.
a advocate for mental health and everything. So that do know that that can be a thought that people can have out there. That whole notion that not even wanting to be here on this planet and maybe taking themselves out, including some of our sisters and everything. So I'm glad that they're doing something to enhance developing a positive mindset. But that what your life is all about is positive mindset. And I say that not just because I think there's a great deal of you and have a great deal of respect for you. And yeah, that wasn't a flirt, but just to let folks know that I do think greatly of you and have a great admiration for the work that you do.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, we're getting older, and it's time out for the foolishness and the idiocy and things like that or whatever. I don't have time for it or whatever, but I will if I have to match energy. But I try to keep myself out of those type of positions and things like that or whatever. I try to mind my own business, stay to myself. When I go home, I'm with the kids, I'm with my mom, I'm with my dad, or whatever, and just doing me, and just letting the other foolishness be, because life is too short. Tomorrow is not promised. So I want to live life to the fullest. I want to be happy and I want to be positive and things like that. And if you can't respect that or bring positivity to my life, then deuces. I'm gonna holler at you. I'm not going back and forth with you. It's no time for that. I'm just gonna
Mhm.
let you make it, and I'm gonna let you be. And that's just the bottom line.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Apparently, and it should have been you, but apparently and maybe you know this person, a black educator from Maryland won a 1 million global teacher prize and everything. So
Yeah,
apparently
that was
somebody
like
that
a year or
teaches
two
for
ago.
black people.
Yeah, that was like a year or two
Okay,
ago. Yeah.
gotcha. So that was a while
Mm-hmm.
back. So I was glad that they won it, and that's a good thing that they won that. What I was going to say that was a sad bit of news is that, and I hadn't told you this, but one of my radio mentors actually passed away about during the time that
Oh.
we were out of pocket and everything. But Jerry Carter was my program director when I was at WNCU, and he passed
Mm-hmm.
away on August 15th, and they actually had his funeral. I believe it was this past Saturday, and I actually didn't even find out that he had passed away until a was calling a friend about an art gallery opening, and another friend that I ran into and everything, and was sharing that information. He was like, "Did you go up to?" He had me have had gone to Jerry's funeral, and I didn't even know that
Mm-hmm.
Jerry had passed and everything.
Passed
So that
away.
just reminds
Mm-hmm.
us to keep in touch as much as we can with folks, because he was a black radio pioneer, and I've been trying to reach him to kind of participate in this thing about black college radio that there are a group of folks, I believe, from Antioch College are doing and everything along those lines. But I've been trying to reach him for the last couple of weeks, but now he is among the ancestors. So I won't be reaching him for that particular project and everything. But it was just kind of startling when my friend Brett told me that he had passed. So just a reminder
Oh,
for
I'm
us to
sorry to hear that.
keep,
Mm-hmm.
so just a reminder for us to keep in touch with our friends and to check on them on a regular basis. As a matter of fact, the last time I talked to him, he had actually told me that he didn't know how much longer he would be here on this
Mm.
planet, but I was not expecting it to be as soon as it was this time around.
Right, exactly. So like I said, I don't have time for the games and the foolishness. I'm all about, living, being happy and things like that or whatever. So if you spewing something else, I don't have time for it. I'm gonna let you make it, because life is too short, definitely too short.
Yep, it's much too short, and all along those lines. Well, we do have some people that are doing some first, so that's always a good thing to go on. Matter of fact, I'm gonna see if this is current, but it looks like one town has recently appointed somebody. That's an old story as well. So that was from a
Hmm.
couple of years ago and everything. But yeah, it was good to see people doing positive things, including getting some ranks and all along those lines. But definitely, like becoming police, becoming something among that space and everything. So, have you gone to any exciting concerts? And if so, what have they been, or you got any that you got in your mind to go see? Because I know that I'm going to go see, I think in either September or October, Charlie Wilson, because actually one of my coworkers got me some tickets to that. And I saw
Oh, nice.
recently the play about the, I think it was the Four Tops was what that play was about. So that was a few months ago and everything. And I think the Four Tops and the Temptations will be coming here shortly. I want to say that might be the same weekend as that concert that I was referring. But I'm definitely trying to get out to some things since we are opening up society, which is a good thing.
Well, actually, no. The biggest concert that I went to over the past year was the Beyonce concert, and I'm just looking forward to having another go at her concert and things like that. As far as anybody else, I haven't actually been on the website to even look to see who's coming in the area or if they're having concerts. I do know I want to go to the Cat Williams show. I'm not sure if I want to go here or in Houston, but I am looking to like purchase tickets for that or whatever. But as far as anything else, no. I've just been trying to get myself, excuse me, I've just been trying to get myself situated, being sick and, moving and all that stuff. I just haven't had a moment's rest. And so I just want to be able to rest and, just get myself together and come and play catch up and, just start doing me again, so
You
that's where
just
I
got,
am.
yeah, you just got to do you again and everything. What was that brother from Maryland? Because I was not that familiar with him, but he did a great job being a speaker and everything. But it was the brother that is the, I think, mayor of Baltimore. But I was actually impressed with him and everything, among other speakers at the
Uh-huh.
DNC. But I thought he did a
Oh,
good job.
Westmore.
What's more, right? Yes,
Yeah,
they're
Westmore.
saying he and Hakeem Jeffries are rising stars that we may see in the White House, either as kind of advisors or maybe even the president in the not too distant future. Based on what I heard, that I could definitely see that happening.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. He's also an author as well.
Oh,
So he was a real hit with like educators here to replace Larry Hogan and things like that or whatever. Although I'm a DC resident and I don't vote in Maryland, I vote in DC politics or
mm,
whatever. I still support him and what he stands for and things like that or whatever. He's actually been kind to educators and he's still moving forward with his educational plan in the Maryland Blueprint Plan and things like that or whatever. So yeah, we are just keeping it pushing and moving forward. So yeah.
speaking of keeping it forward and pushing it forward, I'm gonna read you this quote and then hear your reaction to it. I'm sure
Hmm.
you've got a similar reaction to me that it's not news, but it's something that apparently folks are taking as news. But director, writer, and producer Justin Simeon, who a decade ago crashed through the Hollywood gates with his Sundance-winning film "Dear White People,"
Hmm.
doesn't approach his four-part MGM documentary series "Hollywood Black" from the perspective of Hollywood letting black talent in. Instead, he emphasizes how African American talent, or at least the concept of African American talent, has been a part of Hollywood from day one. From its beginning, Hollywood has been fascinated with African American thought and blackness. Simeon says in the first episode, not only are we the first subject in early motion pictures, but we're also the subject of the first blockbusters, early animation, and of course, the first talkie. So he's got this new piece coming out and everything. So, what is our take on that and all along those lines?
I mean, I am all for, bringing out new film and bringing out new content and, things like that, exposing us to, like new stories. So I feel awesome about, him and, what he's putting out there and, what he's doing and things like that. Like, like I told you, some people are upset with Tyler Perry about, they're saying that his stuff has the same storyline. I don't care if his stuff has the same storyline. He repeating the same storyline. He's doing it 100 times over. This man is employing black people. He's employing black actors, giving them opportunities where they wouldn't have had those opportunities over in Hollywood. So I'm a big supporter of, people who are doing that. And I'm a strong supporter, like I said, of Tyler Perry and anyone else who is out there putting black people on the market and standing on their business. Strong supporter.
Oh yeah, like I said, it ought to be interesting what goes on in that particular piece and everything. So it would be quite fascinating to see what goes on in that way and whether goes on when the piece comes out to the family. Oh, because one of the things he said was, so many times in my career, I reached for a documentary about our experience in film, and there just wasn't one there. And sometimes around 2020, I was having a dark night of the soul moment in
Mhm.
Hollywood. I was successful on the outside. I sold my second feature. I was in the third season of my show based on my first feature, and it just hurt. It just hurt every day to do what I love. And I didn't understand why it was difficult in ways that were hard to articulate. And he recently directed the feature film, The Haunted Mansion. So
Mhm.
that's just a little bit about his background and everything. But yeah, he even talks about the birth of a nation and a number of other things out there as well.
Oh, nice. Like I said, I'm always, a big, strong proponent of supporting, anyone that's doing anything to support, the uplift of Black actors, the uplift of Black employment, the uplift of Black careers. So I am definitely a strong supporter of that. And, anybody that's doing, handling their business and doing their thizzle, I am, definitely supporting. I look forward to the new opportunities with the movies, the new storylines, and things like that or whatever. So I am definitely excited about that. Looking forward to them bringing out the new actors and just see what they have to offer, because like I said, when you're giving someone an opportunity, especially when they're a person of color, that's a big ups for all of us, because when one of us succeed, we all succeed. So for you to be able to do that, and for you to be able to put your stories out there and handle your business, I appreciate that. I love it, and I would definitely continue to support.
No, that makes a lot of sense and everything. Hey, one of the things we didn't get to, and it's going to kick off, and I know you're
Mhm.
a fan as well and everything, but next week I'll be drafting my fantasy players and everything. I know you're a sports fan to some degree, so who should I be
Mhm.
trying to get on my team and all along those lines, because I'm trying to figure out who I'm going to get and who I'm going to recruit and everything. So I don't know if there's a specific team on the football field that you root for, or if you don't even care about that particular game.
Actually, I have two teams: Dallas Cowboys and the New Orleans Saints. So I like both of them for different reasons and things like that or whatever. Because everybody's like, "Oh my God, you can't have two teams. Why? Why can't I have two teams?" I like them for different reasons. So yeah, those are both my teams. So I support both of those. I am, you know, I am just, I'm with it, both of them. So I go to both games, and I love it when they play each other. So those are my teams.
So those are your teams, and you ready to root for them. Speaking of teams and everything, we're still getting a lot of pushback as to who should be the
Hmm.
champion and the All Star or the most valuable player for the WNBA and all along those lines. And I just wanted your take, because we still got people crying for Caitlin to get it. We got people that are back in Angel Reese, and we got people that are back in other players that are neither one of those two individuals. So I just wanted your thoughts, because we still having this whole notion about how Caitlin has done so much for the sport and everything, as if she was the first white player to ever play and everything. We know there have been a number of other players that were white and great, and maybe we even considered the Great White Hope. And there have been a number of great black players as well. So I just wanted your take on all this hoopla that we're still getting around Caitlin.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Caitlin is a great shooter, and she's coming into her own in the WNBA and things like that. But I've been supporting the WNBA long before Caitlin was even mentioned and things like that or whatever. And people who are new to like women's sports and things, they feel that she should just be purported to like certain status. No, she has to earn her keep. She has to earn her way and things like that or whatever. But the other women were well known before Caitlin came into the rink. Everybody on the East Coast already knew who Angel was and things like that, but we did not know who Caitlin was until the beef with Angel and things like that, and the white people hyping it up because they were like, Caitlin is this. She was always popular. She may have been always popular over in Iowa, but she was not. Angel Reese popular over here on the East Coast until they had their little, run in with the, the Tony Yayo and stuff like that or whatever. So, I mean, um, I think all the women are great athletes and things like that or whatever. And I wouldn't be surprised if Caitlin get Rookie of the Year because you know how politics are and things like that or whatever. But I mean, I don't think she just had this breakout, outstanding rookie season or whatever. Don't get me wrong, she's a good player. She got a lot of assists and she passed and things like that or whatever. But I think Angel has been consistent throughout the whole season, and she's been doing what she's been doing, crashing the boards, putting up those numbers, and things like that or whatever. So it's going to be very interesting to see who actually get it. And we also know that Asia Wilson has been a dominant force on the course and on the court, and she is still being a dominant force on the court. So I mean, it will be interesting to see who gets the overall MVP, who gets what, and who handles their business in the last 11, 12 games and things like that or whatever. So it's going to be very interesting to see the outcome of who takes on Rookie of the Year and the other prizes and things like that.
That'll be interesting. Missouri's in the news again. It apparently got in the news last week because a black student government at the University of Missouri
Mhm.
said the school will not allow it to name its fall event Welcome Black Barbecue. So the group
Mm.
Collegian of Black Collegians said that it was heartbroken after it spent months fighting to keep the original name, but the Public University in Columbia decided it needed to be modified to Welcome Black and Gold Barbecue after the school's colors. So we're impressed with
Mm.
the idea. We initially wanted to keep the original name or not have the event at all. The group wrote on Instagram. It said it decided to move forward with the event because they did not want to override the hard work our government and other black student leaders put into this nor face consequences that could lead to massive losses for our government so early into the year. So definitely Christopher Avenue University spokesman said the event is sponsored by the school and the name was modified to reflect that our campus is open and welcoming to all. So apparently they're thinking that just going Black Barbecue was going to give a notion that it wasn't welcoming to all. And I can tell you that I went to Black Hogs in the Park and I saw that there were some people that weren't exactly black that were in Black Hogs in the Park and they were enjoying the music and they were enjoying some of the food trucks and they were just having a good time, even though that was an event specifically geared toward the African American population. I can say the same thing about Kwanzaa and some other things that are geared toward our population as well. So I don't know that I like this idea of them just kind of getting rid of the name because it's got black in it.
Well, you already know. Anytime we support anything that we have going on or whatever, somebody's going to always have a problem with it. They don't want us to. This We are the only race of people that get oppressed for supporting our own and doing things for ourselves and things like that or whatever. When we had the black girl follow train, the white women were mad because they didn't have a white girl follow train. So like I said, we're the only race of people who get shunned and shamed for things that other people are allowed to do and things like that or whatever. So there is no surprise that they have issues with the name of being a black event instead of black and gold or whatever. So it is always going to come with some type of discrepancy, some type of non-agreement, and things like that or whatever. So I am definitely not surprised that they want to change the name. Hey, that's the world that we live in, and that's the way we've been dealing with things, and stuff like that or whatever. So it is definitely no surprise there. We continue to have to fight just to be receive seats at the table, just to receive any type of benefit, any type of compensation, any type of monetary whatever. We're still having to fight just to be able to congregate without being labeled extremists and things like that. So definitely no surprise there, Mark.
Well, speaking of being not surprised, are you surprised when things happen in other countries? Because apparently this happened last week as well. But American comedian Eric Andre said he was racially profiled at a Melbourne airport in Australia. So Andre, the Emmy-nominated host of the Eric Andre show, said he was traveling from Los Angeles to Brisbane for a shoot and had a stopover in Melbourne where he was put in a special line and sniffed thoroughly by a dog. It is one of the many times I've been racially profiled at the airport, Andre 41 said in an Instagram video Sunday, warning viewers flying through Melbourne to please be careful. They are searching black, brown, and indigenous people, he said. A spokesman person for the airport said in a statement last week that the Melbourne airport does not tolerate racism in any form. We will welcome all passengers to Melbourne, and we expect everyone to be treated equally. And the spokesperson added that the airport had asked the Australian Border Force and the Department of Agriculture, Fisheries, and Forestry to investigate, and that those agencies had responded to Andre. In a statement, the DAFF spokesman said all passengers arriving in Australia are part of a biosecurity screening process for things such as fresh fruit or vegetables, plants and food, or soil on footwear or recreational equipment. As part of the screening, the spokesperson said travelers might be subjected to baggage scans through x-rays or be subject to individual inspections and unpacking of baggages or by general screening with the assistance of our highly trained dogs. Any traveler coming to Australia will experience some or all of these screening measures, the spokesperson added. And apparently, we don't know, we heard from the Australian, oh no, the Australian Border Forces referred NBC News to its comments on Andre's Instagram post and that he was not involved in the incident. And Andre asked anyone hired him professionally in Australia to provide him with a security escort through Melbourne Airport or allow him to avoid it. I do not feel safe in the airport. I do not want to be humiliated or racially discriminated against anymore at the airport. I've told you before, meaning you, Dr. Anthony, I've not done enough travel. You've done lots of travel and everything. So, what is your thoughts about this? And are you ever worried about being profiled when you go to these different places? Because apparently, 2 years ago, Andre, a fellow comedian and actor, Clayton English, sued over a drug search program at the Atlanta airport, saying police had racially profiled and illegally stopped them here in the States. And they filed an appeal in January after the lawsuit was dismissed.
Well, I mean, honestly, I don't know if he was being racially profiled because when I flew through Australia, I actually did not read up on this, but I actually had fruit with me because I always take fruit with me on long flights so I can snack whenever I get ready or whatever. And I was subject to search and things like that. And they asked you, do you want to declare anything? And so I did have fruit on me. So I did tell them I had fresh fruit and things like that or whatever. And they did search me. They searched my bags and things like that or whatever. So they took the fruit and they actually threw it away. Well, actually, I don't know if they threw it away because I bought it and when I was in LA and things like that just to eat on the plane. But I'm not sure if that was a racial profile thing with him or whatever, because I know I was subjected to the search and things. And if you do have those things, you do have to declare it, because if you don't declare it, then they will impose like hefty fees and hefty fines and things like that on you, because they ask you, do you have like fresh fruit, are you carrying this, are you carrying that, and things like that. And I was like, yes, I have grapes, because I like to snack, and we have those long flights and things like that. Although they do provide you with some type of food on the plane and things like that or whatever, but I still like to bring my own. And so I was searched in the airport over in Sydney. So honestly, I cannot attest to that being a racial profile or if it's just a black brown thing. Now my colleague that I was traveling with was not searched, because he did not have fresh fruit and things like that. So like I said, I can't just hands down definitively say that it was a racial profiling thing or whatever, because I did have fruit on me when I went to Australia, and I did notify their form of our TSA. I did notify them that I was carrying fruit, and so they let the dog sniff the bag and all that stuff or whatever. So he started barking and whatever, and so they took the fruit out of the bag. And then once they took the fruit out of the bag and looked in the bag and things like that or whatever, I was actually free to go. But you cannot lie when you go into these different countries and things like that. You do have to declare if you are bringing things, because if you lie and they find it, then they could put you back on a flight to leave, and or you can be jailed or you can be fined heavily. So like I said, I don't know if it was like racial profiling or whatever, but I do know some instances where that has taken place. But speaking from myself and going to Australia, I was not racially profiled. I did have fruit on me, and I let them, like I said, I let them know that I had fruit because I was eating the fruit on the plane and things like that or whatever. So
Wait a minute, but wait, so you let them have the dog do the test on you? You've already told me several times that
no,
you
no,
are
no, no,
not
no,
safe.
no. They didn't do the test on me. The dog walked by the bags.
Okay,
They sniff your bag. They don't, because I told them I have pet allergies. That was
then
what
that's
that
what I
was one of
meant.
the
You had
first things.
severe pet
No, no,
allergy.
no, no. The dogs never touched me, and I never got like close. It was the bags that they were searching or
Okay,
whatever. Like the carry on and the luggage and stuff like that or whatever. It was those bags. So like I said, that all they do is let the dog. It's just like in any airport when they're when you have to go through security checks and they're checking for drugs. They let the dogs walk by you, sniff, and if they feel when they smell what they're looking for or whatever, Then they start barking. So, like I said, I cannot definitively say that it was racial profiling because I know you can get searched, and anybody can get searched at any point in time when you are going through customs into a different country. So, it's not saying that you are being picked because you're black or whatever, and I know that sometimes when I buy my tickets at the last minute, or I go to the airport and pay cash, I'm randomly picked, and at one point I was being randomly picked almost consistently when I would fly to, get searched by TSA. So, I'm not sure, like I said, I'm not sure if it has anything to do with race or whatever. And a lot of it depends on like when you purchase your ticket, like if you're buying last minute tickets, if you're going to the airport paying with cash or whatever. So it could be a host of different things that could, prompt a search and things like that or whatever. And like I said, when I was in Australia, you have to go through customs, you have to declare things and things like that. And I did declare that I had fruit. So all they did was, take the fruit, because on the sign it says, if you do not declare, this is, and the other, you're subject to being searched, you're subject to being fined, and you're subject to being jailed. So I just let them know I was carrying fruit because I get hungry and that was my snacks or
Yeah, that
whatever.
makes sense. Well,
So
speaking of getting hungry, and it's almost done for time to wrap up the show. It's been another interesting conversation and everything. But during the time that you were gone, we lost an icon of the food industry and everything. So since you mentioned food and everything, I didn't know if you had any thoughts about Wally Amos, the creator of the famous Amos cookies,
yeah,
and
the
all along
cookie.
those lines. So he had he passed away, and in his he eventually lost ownership of that company. In his later years, he became a proprietor of a coffee cookie shop called Chips and Cookies in Hawaii, which is where he had moved in 1977. So, before we get out of here, if you had any thoughts about that particular icon of the whole confectionery business, that being Wally Amos, the creator of the famous Amos cookie.
I was just sad to hear he had passed away, but all of our times are gonna expire. He did what he did his assignment. He did what he was supposed to do, and I'm glad that he introduced us to the cookies and his recipes and things like that or whatever. Because without him, we wouldn't have a lot of people who are actually into making pastries and snacks and sweets and things like that. So he was a trendsetter and he set the way. But I was sad to hear that he passed away at the tender age of 88 years old and things like that or whatever. But we, want to pay homage to him and what he has done, and all the things that he has, all the foundations and the legwork there. He laid the path for so that somebody else could come and take up his slack and things like that or whatever. So yes, indeed, we do want to pay homage to him and just take a moment of silence and just give him that praise and thank him for everything that he has done and all of the that the light that he has shown throughout his time and his tenure here on earth before his expiration and before he expired. So
Well, another amazing show here to get on out of here. I don't know if
yes.
you want to let folks know really quickly about your book and all the different things you've got going creatively, because it's been a minute since folks have heard from you and everything, and you're always doing
Yes.
amazing creative things. As you know, I'm one of your number one fans and all along those lines. So didn't know if you want to give another plug for the books and all along those lines, even though you're up there hiding in DC. One of these days I'm going to
Yeah,
see
I am hiding
you.
in DC. Well, my books are at the Gator Park and the Enchanted Column. So I'm found on Amazon. You can pick them up if you would like to order. They're on Amazon. You can type in the names at the Gator Park and the Enchanted Columns, or you can type in Dr. Anthony, and my information will pull up. And I do have some other books that's about to drop, that's coming out, and things like that or whatever. So yes, please, please, please be on the lookout. And with that being said, the clock on the wall says that's all. Make sure you click like, share, and get those views up so we can start, getting this localized TV set going on and things like that. We are still number one overseas, but I want to be number one in the States. So make sure you do your thug thizzle and share, click like, share, and let's do it. So
Let's definitely do it.
deuces.
We're going to get on out of here. Another great job, and we will be back next week with more exciting conversation, maybe even some videos about some of the things we've been talking about and everything. But always
Yeah.
fun to see you, Dr. Anthony. And I know that you'll be working with those students this week, and I look forward to hearing how that is as well. So always good to see that bright
Likewise.
smile of yours, and we will catch you on the next week.
Thank you so much. Deuces.
You too.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to the All Around. I'm your gracious host, Dr. Anthony. Please tune in on Mondays at 6 p.m. for your entertainment purposes. We will hit current topics, old topics, and everything else in between. Be there or be square. Deuces, my loves.